And extreme wind chills. And as that snow moves south, we have a live look right now in Silver Creek. And this video is from downtown Buffalo just over 2 hours ago. Snow was coming down heavily and blowing all over the place on Delaware Avenue and East Ferry Street. Thanks so much for joining us right now for our special weather impact alert coverage. I'm Lauren Hall, and a winter storm warning is in effect across western New York. We have live team coverage tracking it all for you. Two on your sides, Courtney Courtwright is standing by in the storm tracker with the latest on the road conditions. But first, we are heading to the Weather Center. Storm Team 2 meteorologists Jennifer Sinonis and Dan Russell are following the lake effect snow bands as they move through the region. How's it looking right now, guys?
Hey there. I mean, it is whiteout conditions at times when this band is coming through.
Yeah, right around midday, we had that Arctic front. It rolled in. Kind of remember yesterday around 2 p.m.? Very similar setup, and we just had that burst of snow. And again, true whiteout conditions, winds that were gusting over 50 miles per hour. And quite a bit of drama there.
Yeah, snowfall rates 2 inches per hour. So as it moves through, it is dumping quite a bit. But at least, though, when it moved through downtown, it was rather quick.
Yeah, and now we're kind of transitioning into more just traditional localized lake effect. Now that Arctic front continues to slide off, and I know you're going to be talking more about that.
Yes, and we're going to check in with Dan in a moment about more on the radar shot and zooming into some of these communities. Right now, you can see that lake effect snow band. It is south and inland of Buffalo and still producing moderate to even heavy snowfall, reducing visibilities greatly near whiteouts at times, blustery conditions as well, blowing and drifting snow, Concord, Wales, out toward Batavia, and also south into Gowanda. So we do continue to have that winter storm warning for most of our area. You can see highlighted in pink here. It goes until Wednesday, late afternoon. This is what it looks like for those snow totals. So as verified with this forecast already so far, the band started northeast of Lake Erie, where we did see about ½ a foot plus of snow for some of our northern communities. It moved through pretty quickly, and now it's impacting areas inland and south of Buffalo. That's where the highest amounts we're expecting are south of Buffalo, especially extreme southern Erie County. Also northern Chautauqua Cattaraugus could see 1 to 2 feet, maybe even localized 2.5. So we're going to continue to track this band. Also the Arctic cold. We have this cold weather advisory continuing. That is for tonight, 10 p.m. and goes until 1 p.m. Tuesday afternoon. That's for the southern tier counties, also for Wyoming County and into northern Pennsylvania. Wind chill values -15 to even -20 for these advisory areas. For the rest of our area, including Buffalo, probably down to -10 to start the day off tomorrow with that wind chill value is what it'll feel like outside. So weather impact alert continues. That's through Tuesday night, in fact, as we'll be tracking the lake effect snow bands, the accumulations, and also those wind chill values, that Arctic cold wind chill values down to -20. So whiteout conditions at times, near whiteout. Also the blowing and drifting snow, will continue to be dealing with that even area wide, and then we'll continue to track that heavy lake effect band that will continue to shift southward, and that's where it is expected to stay. We'll show you more on Future Look coming up, and also we have Dan right now who's going to dive into that current radar and where that band is right now. Hi, Dan.
Oh yeah, Jen, and you know it's lake effect snow, so it's always very localized because in some areas we're gonna have clearer conditions. Look at this, the North Grand Island Bridge. We got breaks of sunshine happening there, but as you travel south, especially as you get towards the 90 here at Silver Creek, we've had bursts of snow roll on through from time to time, and you can see road conditions. You got those tire ruts there, and we're going to continue to track this lake effect snow band. Again, it's been on the move this afternoon. However, as we head to the next few hours, it's really going to be setting up shop there, especially across those deeper south towns and into areas of ski country. For Buffalo, look at this. We're clear, and outside of a couple of stray snow showers, we're not expecting any more snow here in the city. Really, the rest of today, tonight, and even much of tomorrow. It's later tomorrow, though. Buffalo, we're going to get into another round of lake effect snow. And again, that's tomorrow evening, tomorrow night. So we're looking good here. Inland, though, that burst of snow continues, especially get towards Lancaster, stretching down towards Alden. Definitely some whiteout conditions in and around Alden at the moment. Also in and around the Boston Hills. Look at the darker blues showing up. These are some snowfall rates around 2 to 3 inches an hour. You combine that with those winds that are gusting, yes, still at times 50 to 55 miles per hour. That is certainly causing some very treacherous and even some dangerous travel within some of these snow squalls. Notice along the Lake Erie shoreline, though, we are seeing a little bit of improvement there. But traveling inland, here we are taking a look at the 28 corridor in and around Varysburg, stretching into portions of Wyoming County. Towards Warsaw, we're dealing with this band of heavy lake effect snow, also into southern Genesee County, anywhere from Attica up towards Batavia, Bethany, Pavilion, dealing with whiteout conditions with this lake effect snow band now setting up. And also into areas of northern Chautauqua, northern Cattaraugus County, dealing with some snow showers here, a little bit lighter. So as we go through the next few hours, what's going to happen is we're going to begin to see this band of snow really begin to set up in this general location. And for the most part, that's where it's going to remain through this evening, tonight, tomorrow. And that's where you are seeing those impressive snowfall amounts of potentially 1 to 2 plus feet. And again, that's for some of those deeper south towns and ski country. Winds always compound the issue. And yeah, we're still seeing gusts. Look at Dunkirk there, 51 mile per hour is the latest gust. Temperatures upper teens, low 20s. But when you factor in those winds, we have wind chills in the single digits above, but already a little bit below zero, and these wind chills are only going to continue to get colder. Now we're going to go ahead and send it out to Courtney Correa, who's taking a look at those conditions in Storm Tracker 2. How's it looking out there, Courtney?
Hey, Dan, we are in West Seneca right now. We are on Orchard Park Road. I want to give you a look at what conditions look like right now. As you can see, not really much snow falling right now, but you can kind of see that blowing and drifting snow in some areas. And, you know, just a couple minutes down the road too, we saw sunshine. So it really, really depends on where you are. So right, like I said, we are in West Seneca right now. People taking it slow out here. You know, we keep mentioning it. Winter storm warning in effect for most of Western New York throughout, you know, the late afternoon on Wednesday. So this is going to last, like, you know, you were saying, Dan, Jen was saying, Paul was saying last night, for the next couple of days or so. And you can see that some of these roads still have some snow in some areas, but, you know, there has been some plows going in and out of here too. Jen was talking about it too. Some areas could see, you know, those near whiteout conditions. Like I said, just because it looks like how it looks like here does not mean that it looks like this where you are. Gusty winds, I mean, you can see that blowing snow just a little bit, but you know, those gusty winds are not going to help. We have the possibility in some areas to see that blowing and drifting snow like you're just about to see now. So we will keep you updated on all of the road conditions as we keep our journey in the Storm Tracker 2. Live and on your side in West Seneca right now. Courtney Courtwright, Channel 2 News. Guys.
Courtney, thank you. And as the snow makes its way through the region, you can see conditions on some of the other roads in the city as well. We have a live look right now at conditions in Eden for you. Taking a look at the 90 there, and as Dan was describing, some of those tire ruts in the road, but you can see the bare pavement in some spots as well, also blowing snow on the side of the thruway in Eden. And within the last 30 minutes, the Skyway in Buffalo has reopened after shutting down for several hours. This video shows what conditions were like there earlier today. A travel advisory does remain in effect throughout Erie County, including in the city of Buffalo. Last night, county and city officials held a press conference to encourage people to stay off the roads while crews work to clear the snow.
We're advising them to stay off the roads for safety issues and for health issues. It also allows our plows to plow in a timely manner. So, you know, when we talk about collaboration and communication, the public needs to collaborate with us also.
And in Niagara County, North Tonawanda also has issued a travel advisory. And with this active weather, National Grid is reporting thousands of outages here in Western New York right now. According to their outage map, there are more than 2,000 customers in Cattaraugus County that are impacted. Around 350 people in Allegheny County are without power, and just over 300 in Erie County. For a full breakdown, you can find this outage map on National Grid's website. And we will continue to track the latest developments as snow moves through Western New York. Plus, we'll get another check on the roads with Courtney right after this break with me, Jen, and Dan. Yes. We'll see you right back here. Welcome back to our special coverage of this weather impact alert, and the village of Fredonia is preparing for hazardous winter weather conditions tonight. So beginning tonight at 6 o'clock, there will be a travel advisory in Fredonia and the town of Pomfret. This is a live look near Fredonia in Dunkirk, where you can see there's already some snow coming down. Shaky camera too, so it's windy there. People are urged to limit unnecessary travel and allow extra time. Use caution if driving is required. Again, that goes into place at 6 o'clock tonight over here in the Weather Center with Dan.
Yep.
And we're thinking, we know it's hard to predict what lake effect snow is going to do.
Localized, right?
But we've been tracking all day, and you're thinking it's going to go south, stay south.
Yeah, this is going to be, I think, one of these kind of traditional lake effect events where it's portions of the South Towns and ski country where, boy, that snow is definitely going to be adding up. So for Fredonia, put in that travel advisory. Likely a good idea, because that's where that snow is going to be setting up, especially as we get further into this evening and into the overnight. We'll continue to track that lake effect snow even tomorrow. What's been happening today has been a combination of lake effect snow, but also an Arctic front that's been swinging on through. That's what gave us the burst of snow here in downtown. And here we are taking a look at the 190 at Niagara Street. And you can see the highways, for the most part, are looking pretty good. And outside of a couple of stray snow showers here in Buffalo, we're pretty much done with any additional snow. Again, it's into the South Towns and even inland. Here we are taking a look at the 90 here at Batavia, and we're certainly dealing with some snow showers even there. In fact, here's the latest live radar. And again, we're all clear here in Buffalo, and occasionally we'll get into a few stray snow showers, but overall accumulations very minor here over the next 24 hours. Again, traveling down the 90, that burst of snow continues to make its way towards Batavia and even now points further east. Here's the harshest conditions right now. You get just south of East Aurora into Wales, down towards Holland, Route 16. Again, in around the Boston Hills, Concord. Again, this is where true ski country here. This is where, boy, we are dealing with true whiteout conditions. Snowfall rates around 2 to 3 inches an hour and winds that are still gusting 50 miles per hour. So this is definitely one of the areas, if I can avoid any kind of travel, a good idea there. And again, even stretching inland, that 28 corridor, it does begin to lighten up by the time you get towards, say, Varysburg and stretching towards Warsaw. But some of these darker blues are going to be moving in, so don't be surprised. Say if you're in Warsaw or Varysburg, conditions will actually deteriorate. Up into Genesee County, you can see some of the heavy snow, especially south of Batavia, anywhere from Arcade, stretching up towards Attica, Bethany, down towards Pavilion, and then into areas of Chautauqua and especially northern Cattaraugus County and around Gowanda, also dealing with some stray snow showers. The winds right now are almost too heavy for a single heavy band of lake effect snow to begin to set up. But as winds actually begin to relax here over the next couple of hours, this is where we're going to begin to see that band really set up here this evening, tonight. And again, that's deeper South Towns, deep southern Erie County. That's where that snow will be adding up through the overnight and into tomorrow morning. Of course, winds always compound the issue, and everyone is dealing with this. Look at that, Dunkirk, 56 mile per hour latest gusts. Even in Buffalo, we're still seeing winds that are gusting upwards of 40 miles per hour. We'll see these numbers relax a bit here over the next couple of hours. The other thing that's going to be relaxing, or shall we say dropping, the temperature. Right now we're in the teens to near 20, but when you factor in that gusty breeze, this is what it feels like. Feels like already only 2 in Buffalo. Niagara Falls is the first time you got a now sub-zero wind chill, 1 below and 4 below in Jamestown. These numbers, Jen, are only continuing to get colder and colder here as we head into tonight.
Yes, I mean, even minus 10 to minus 20 in some locations, especially well south. And I want to show you some of these snow reports that continue to come in. And we started with the heavy snow well north of Buffalo, and then it is shifting south. But look at some of these numbers. North Tonawanda, more than half a foot of snow, 8.5 there. Niagara Falls, 8.2. Sanborn, just below half a foot. We're going to be adding to some of these numbers, mainly south of Buffalo and inland and deeper south towns, as Dan was just mentioning. And here's that future look tracking this. So the band settling south, and it'll get a little more organized as we head through into the evening tonight, mainly impacting communities across southern Erie County, extending into Wyoming County, also portions of the southern tier, Chautauqua, and also Cattaraugus. Notice that's where we'll kind of settle for much of the night and into tomorrow morning. So tomorrow morning's commute, tough conditions, driving conditions extending from Dunkirk into places like Springville. And then notice it'll slowly make its way back northward toward downtown Buffalo, probably after the evening commute. And then it'll shift even further north and finally dissipate, ending by early Wednesday morning. Well, let's zoom in here, as you can see, what we'll be dealing with for this evening commute. Most of that snow, that lake effect snow band, will be just south of Buffalo, potentially even south of Lackawanna, more into the Boston Hills, Concord, Colden, dealing with near whiteout conditions at times, also into Collins. And then you can see even pushes further south for the rest of the night. So let's go further south on Future Look. As you can see, Sheridan, Forestville going to be dealing with this heavy snow, reduced visibility, snowfall rates about 2 inches plus per hour, potentially even near 3. So we're going to get quite a bit of snow out of this band potentially. This is where we're going to see those higher amounts of 1 to 2 feet of snow. That's for the extreme southern Erie County and into northern Chautauqua and Cattaraugus. This is why, because the band is expected to just kind of settle down there right on overnight and into much of tomorrow morning before then it does shift northward once again. So those wind gusts are continuing to be about 40 to 50 miles per hour, including Dunkirk right now, and we'll be dealing with that for the rest of the afternoon, and then breezy conditions for tomorrow. So still that blowing and drifting snow, but especially for today. And then that Arctic air continuing to flow in for the rest of tonight and into tomorrow. So we have those temperatures falling as well in the teens, even some single digits overnight, even wind chill values about -10 for our northern zone, even -20 further south across the southern tier as well. Well, more details coming up, of course, but let's check on the roadways with Courtney Courtwright in Storm Tracker 2. Hi, Courtney.
Hey, Jen, we are on 20A right now, and we are actually headed towards East Aurora. I want to give you a look at the conditions, show you what we're dealing with right now. As in terms of snow, at least where we are right now, obviously nothing really falling, but you can see that the ground's really not too bad, but obviously there is going to be that snow on the ground. You can see that through the tire tracks. A little windy in some areas coming along here. In some areas as we're driving along, you can see the trees moving. Ahead you can see that blowing snow, which, you guys have been talking about that, some areas could see that blowing snow with the gusty winds. It does not help, especially when you're driving. It could make travel dangerous at times. And actually that's why Erie County has put in place a travel advisory, and they're not the only ones. They're among a few places around Western New York that has put in a travel advisory. But as of right now, for where we're driving, like I said, we are on 20A and we are headed towards East Aurora right now. Not really that bad of conditions. Can't even talk about, snow falling at the moment, but just because it looks like this here doesn't mean that where you are it's, the same, right? So I heard Dan say localized a few times there. So we will continue to keep you updated and follow the roads as, we continue our journey through Western New York. But even up ahead now, you can see those trees kind of moving just a little bit. But guys, I'll send it back to you in the studio.
That's right. Thank you so much, Courtney. And we'll be back after this break with more on the road conditions and our final check at the weather with Dan and Jen. We'll be right back.
It is a pure whiteout here in Western New York. This is Hamburg, and you can barely see across the streets, as you can see here. And the sun was out about 15 minutes ago. But a winter wonderland for sure, but travel 100% not recommended in this.
And that was Storm Team 2 Chief Meteorologist Patrick Hamber showing the conditions earlier today in Hamburg. Taking another look, though, at the roads right now in Western New York. We have a live look at the thruway in Blaisdell, not too far from where Patrick took that video earlier again today. Things looking pretty clear in the moment. And though we are getting a little shaking from the camera, the drivers that are on the thruway seem to be navigating it just fine. So that is what the conditions are like live in Blaisdell. But it is time for a last check at the weather conditions. Storm Team 2 meteorologists Jennifer Stanonis and Dan Russell are joining us again in the Weather Center with the latest updates. And yeah, this thing moves so quickly, this snow band. I mean, we had a similar situation in downtown Buffalo this morning as well, right around noon.
Right.
It was
downtown.
just like what Patrick was showing. And then a few minutes later, clear.
Yes.
Boom.
And then Angola, you saw it in Angola.
Yeah, it hit. It lasted only about 15, 20
Really
minutes.
Yeah,
it was sunshine before, and then it was right back to sunshine even after. It's those kind of conditions, though, that can get people caught off guard. It actually ends up kind of dangerous in those situations. That's why they issue those squall line warnings because of that, because you'll go from sunshine to a whiteout and then back to sunshine in a very short period of time.
And moving forward, we're going to see kind of a more standard lake effect band setting up, and we're not expecting any more Arctic fronts, at least not in the foreseeable future, in the short term. So that's where we're going to have that band settling south, and then that's where we're going to see most of it until it shifts north briefly later tomorrow night.
And you know lake effect, it's just so localized, you know, and for anybody that's not aware of lake effect or used to it, it's one of those things where literally you can travel a mile down the road, go from absolutely clear conditions to then whiteout conditions, a wall of snow. You hear us talk about it all the time. And yeah, it's going to be some of those areas where we see that lake effect snow pile up. I think that's ultimately where we're going to see the biggest numbers.
And this winter storm warning does continue for our area, and the snow totals, and it gets a little tricky with lake effect snow, as we all know who have been here many, many years. But notice we are still going to see, we started with the lake effect snow band. We did see about half a foot plus for our northern zone. It moved through quickly our basically Buffalo metro area and south. This is where we're going to see that band setting up and the higher amounts of snow accumulations that the deeper south towns, Dan, and into northern Chautauqua, Cattaraugus.
Perrysburg always finishes number one. They're always the big winners. I wouldn't be surprised if they're in the top three and when it's all said and done. Perrysburg and maybe even inland and around Springville. Could see some big numbers.
And even potentially some localized, isolated 2.5 feet potentially wherever this band really sets up with that heaviest, most persistent
The
snow.
one thing about lake effect, and you hear us kind of talk about it occasionally, is the ratio. And with as cold as the air is, we're going to see some snowfall ratios. You know, typically when you have like a wide spread snow event, you have what's called a 10-to-1 ratio. That means 1 inch of rain would equal 10 inches of snow. In this kind of event, though, you can get 40 even 50-to-1 ratios, and that's where that snow get that what's called true lake effect fluff, and that's what we're going to be seeing really pile up
quickly.
Oh yeah,
Exactly.
and I know you're going to talk more about that.
Yes, not as much moisture content for that. Yes, and look at how cold this air is already behind that Arctic front. We're going to continue to have temperatures falling and conditions. We feel like 0 out there with the wind chill value right now, -1 for Niagara Falls, -4 for Jamestown. And notice as we head through tonight and into tomorrow morning, waking up to temperatures, I mean, even for our northern zone, -10, -12 with that wind chill value, but even dropping down to -15, even -20 for some locations south. So that's why we have that cold weather advisory for all the southern tier counties, Wyoming County into northern Pennsylvania. It starts 10 p.m. tonight, goes until 1 p.m. Tuesday afternoon for those very cold wind chills. So we have that weather impact alert that continues through tonight, through even Tuesday night to cover the additional snow accumulations expected, which will be mainly now east of Lake Erie, and the very cold wind chills continuing as well. We have whiteout conditions at times under that most persistent band, and also these gusty winds, especially continuing for today, 50 miles per hour for these wind gusts in some cases. So that'll be continuing through the rest of this afternoon, and then it'll just be breezy for tomorrow, but we'll still be dealing with some blowing and drifting snow. What's good news though is that as this band shifts northward again later